Going to ask you a kind of a funny but serious question. So, how do you deal with tough customers,
Yeah, so
difficult customers?
honestly, for the most part, I don't really run into any tough customers. When I first started, because of course I was really like soaking my feet into the game, I would kind of take on anyone that came my way, no matter the price, even if it was for the cheapest of the cheapest. But now I'm at that point now where I'm kind of leaning into like more high end vehicles and in that nature. But For the most part, I don't run into too much tough customers. I hope you always have those people that are willing to like give you their input and stuff. So I kind of just it used to bother me when I first started. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, I'm the only one. This is my business. Don't
Yeah, and
tell me
that
what to
their
do.
cars like their baby or their
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
motorcycles their baby, and the
yeah.
fact
So
that they're entrusting you with something that, I mean, even though it's materialistic, um, we shouldn't put that much value into something, but that is our everyday,
yeah,
transportation. That is our everyday thing that, that we own, or one of our pride possessions, so to speak. Some people do see it that way.
yeah,
So I can totally understand where they come across as like, hey, do this or do that, or you
yeah.
miss this or
And
you
you know
miss
what? I
that.
love it. I begin to like. I love when my clients give me their input. Like I'm always willing to fix certain things if I have to fix for certain things. But that's something I try not to aim towards when I'm finishing up with the client's vehicle or whatever. But yeah, I love the input. Honestly, I
So
love
have
it
you
when
ever
someone
had
has
to,
something to
like,
say.
because I know when you're learning new things, like, you're learning, even though as simple as it sounds, you're just washing a car. But there's a lot to it. It's not just washing a car, like you said, it's detailing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
have you ever had to watch like different videos like on how to wash like a specific car, or how to handle a specific car, or how to dry a car, or what to do?
No, honestly, well, when I first started detailing, yes, because I
How did you
really
teach yourself?
YouTube. Honestly, I feel like if you're starting a business or whatever,
Yeah.
or you either run to Instagram, any type of social media, or YouTube, and that's like the best way to teach you. And so yeah, but now honestly, like going back to the word confident, like I feel like any vehicle that I come upon, I really don't think twice on it. It's kind of like in my nature now. I just do it, no matter what the price of the vehicle is.
What's been the biggest vehicle that you've had to detail
Um
as far as size?
I've done like some cranes for some big.
Cranes.
I've done some
I would
cranes.
never think. Why would people? Why would someone or a
So
company want to
people,
detail a
big
crane?
big construction companies, big distribution companies, they reach out to me. It's been a while, but I've detailed a lot of their fleets, like cranes, big old 50-foot crane trucks and stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's some of the vehicles that I do. I try not to dip my feet in too much in that area because that's more of like in a team aspect. It's kind of a little easier when you have a whole team going for you when you get into like big vehicles like that.
So
But
have
yeah,
you ever had to have a team? Did you have to go and seek help, like a 2-man or a three
yeah,
man job?
I've had two different workers work with me this year and this past year, but sometimes hiring certain people, they don't value the business as much as you do, and so it's a lot. So yeah, but I for sure plan on expanding more. That's the goal come 2026.
Yeah.
Bringing back more people because I am getting a ton of love. I have a lot of young kids that reach out to me that are in high school and stuff, here and there. Are you hiring this and that? And so yeah, that's the plan.
And I think you mentioned like high school, maybe even elementary. And I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but being from Peoria, I know that, some schools sometimes work with different companies to offer like some kind of apprenticeship program.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's something, they'll allow you to maybe pitch something to one of the elementary or high schools like, hey, I'm hiring for part-time help, give a kid a chance to learn and maybe make some extra money. Provided, of course, there's got to be some kind of policies or procedures or boundaries because, it could be, a risk, what if they get hurt or what if, they do something to a customer's vehicle. So I understand the risk or the insurance aspect of it.
yeah,
But I think that would be a great idea, some kind of a, apprenticeship program to work with young kids in the community, up and coming, give them, that jump start to like, hey, I did this, you could do this. And even if it's something that they don't pursue in the near future, but at least they see that, they see your hustle, they see what you're doing, they get to, talk with you, you get to talk with them and kind of build that relationship, not only with them, but their family and maybe their school. But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then it's good you brought that up because like I've been thinking since the beginning of this year, like I want to be a detail business, but like I want to be able to expand more. I want to be able to like eventually like who knows like help out the community in my area of detailing, if that kind of makes sense. Like
No, it does.
start reaching out to people and just being of help, good service and stuff like that. So yeah, I get what you're saying with the school.
And if you think about it, I mean, a lot of the school districts, the charter schools, they all, I don't know that they all, but I know public school because I was raised in public school, they do have buses. So, I mean, it only makes sense that, if their buses need any kind of detailing, I mean, who are they going to call? I mean, it's a kind of a way in the door also to have that contact.
No, you're right.
So it could open, I guess, more avenues, more opportunities for potential business, growth. I think of the big picture when I think of those things, because businesses, mom and pops, whatever you want to call them, I feel when you're growing and you're doing your own business, it's all about relationships, whether it's, at home and, your business and you're growing. So it's about, building those relationships and growing, because those relationships continue to expand outside of, the little circle that we work within, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. Yeah, in that aspect, like I said, I plan on just growing my business, getting more involved where like I could, like you said, get more, dip my feet more in like different schools or businesses in that aspect. So yeah.
How did you design your logo? Did you come up with that design?
Honestly, honestly,
I'm always curious.
It was in the beginning. That was the first thing I did actually before I even started my detail business.
Because I know your dad is a graphic designer, right?
Yeah. So honestly, that was just a little something I just came up with, and I'm like, I don't know, the diamond just hit right, and I was like, I don't know, I like it. So yeah, it was just something that came off the top of my head.
And you did that on your own?
Yeah, I did that on my own.
Yeah. So what else have you learned from, whether it's the business or the people? Like, what things would you tell somebody out there that, they're wanting to start their own business, or they're thinking about it, but they haven't taken that step? Like, from what I've heard you say, you don't need a lot of money. A lot of times people think that they need, a lot of money to up and start a business.
Yeah.
And I think depending on what it is you don't always need a lot of money to start a business.
So like you just said, like, I feel like for me, I think I'm a great example of like, you don't need a lot of money. I feel like if you want to start a business, I can't speak for certain businesses because like money could be involved for certain other businesses, but for mine at least, or something in my nature, I feel like a lot of kids, they kind of want to wait for like the perfect time to start, and I feel like sometimes it's just the best time to start. I feel like it's just now, even when you don't have nothing, and then you kind of work your way up from there. So I feel like in that aspect, like if you want to start a business or whatever, especially if it's something you really like to do, like for me, I love detailing cars. But if it's something like you're really passionate for and you really like to do, I feel like there should be no hesitation.
Right.
Just like go 100% with it. Even if it's like, and I feel like nowadays a lot of kids are like, even grown adults too, I feel like they're scared to start stuff just because they don't think about like, they think like their family members are going to say something, or they think their friends or their loved ones, they don't know how they're going to feel about it. But I feel like, you kind of got to put everyone to the side. And if it's something you really, really feel like you want to do, like, just do it.
And I agree with you. I think a lot of times and I know I did it for myself, when I started my brand, I had just sketched something on a little yellow Post-it. I'm like, I need to do a clothing brand that can, I can use in the, the lowrider scene, the bike scene, whatever, just general culture, just general, and, not motorcycle related, because, I write also. So I just sketched something on a little yellow Post-it, and I'm like, so I sketched it, and I'm like, now I need to find a graphic designer to kind of, come up with this and draw this up. So I reached out to a tattoo artist. But it's like you said, when you tell yourself, oh, you know what, I have this great idea, but the timing is not right now. And I think when you tell yourself that, if you don't write it down, and I've heard this many times, and I'm sure you probably have heard it, and people out there probably have heard it, if you don't write it down, chances of reaching that goal probably will never happen. So I think you just need to take advantage of that situation and just say, you know what, I'm just going to run with it and go with it. And if it fails, it fails. At least it's a learning experience. And if it takes off, great. It's a great accomplishment, a great achievement. But I think a lot of times people, like you said, are afraid to try. And I think that's the takeaway here is you have to try.
Yeah.
Because if you don't try, you don't know. And once again, if you try and it fails, at least you learn. And you learn from that, and either you continue to grow from there or you learn from there and okay, let's tweak it, let's learn this, that, or the other, let's change this up, and just try and find a way to make it work.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Yeah, in that aspect, I feel like you honestly, there's like really no words other than just go for it, honestly.
So another big thing too is support.
Yeah.
So I know that in trying things like this, a lot of it too is support. So your support system, how is your wife Vanessa? Like, how is she? I'm sure she's like one of your number one fans.
Yeah. So my wife Vanessa. Yeah, so I'm married. I got a wife. Her name's Vanessa, and I got a little girl. Her name's Iwani.
Beautiful. You have a beautiful family.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I gotta say, like, she's the biggest supporter over anyone. Like, I feel like when there's someone that needs to slap me in the face when it's time to get slapped, it's Vanessa.
She holds you accountable.
I say that in a good way,
Yes.
From just the little things that I struggle with that, she knows I go through all the time, just to the big things, like all my successes and everything. I feel like, she's the greatest supportful woman I can have, as a wife, a best friend, a mom. And then, my daughter too, she's little, but, I try to do everything for her as well. So.
And I always say that people that, whether it's a business or just anything in life, growth, position, a job, I think your support system, your partner, I think is very important in your life, because your partner will determine more like where you see yourself, where you grow, how you learn. And I think having the right partner says a lot, because sometimes we as people, will kind of, take the wrong turn, or we want to try this, or we want to try that. And having a partner that helps hold us accountable, like, no, let's do this. You can do this. I believe in you. I think that's just really important in life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like I said, Vanessa's been there with me since,
How long have you been married?
We're gonna be married. Our anniversary is on Thursday.
Oh,
we're gonna be married for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. So November 6th. So looking forward to that. But
and your daughter is how old?
She's 3.
3.
Yeah, she's 3. So yeah. Now everything from A to B, Vanessa's been there with me. Like I said, she knows my struggles I go through all the time. I don't really share this a lot with a lot of people, but I feel like in a certain point, like in my life and my business, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am at without her. So like,
I believe that. I'm a very firm believer of that.
So yeah,
I see you guys in church.
Like so and like you said, since we're talking about support system and stuff, like I said, I grew up in the church like my whole entire life, but when COVID hit, we kind of stopped going for a while. It was a few years, and until we moved into our house, we started going back to church and stuff. But yeah, I feel like a good support system that I feel like everyone should get a try is like God, because like I feel like you can only do so much.
Right.
You can only do so much. Yeah, you're a business owner, you're mother, father, a husband, a wife, but I feel like when you don't got God in your corner, I feel like it's just
you're lost.
You're lost,
no
and I feel like there's like no direction.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just trying to me and Vanessa just slowly trying to grow our faith in that aspect. And it's hard here and there, but I'm loving the journey.
Yeah, and I think you being so young, I think that you're ahead of the game. If you look around, some of your friends and family, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be somebody that has more. There's always going to be somebody that has, gone in a different direction. They have more, they appear to have more. But I think you guys, are a great example of, one, putting God first, having faith. You're growing in your business, Vanessa stable in her job, you have your little beautiful family, you both support each other. And I think that says a lot. And I think that it'll be interesting to see where you go from here. I think your growth, I think your potential, I think is just astronomical.
Yeah,
it really is.
No, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you first meet me, like I don't ever come off as weird or anything like that. I just want I'm cool with everyone that I meet.
You
in my
are. You're
life.
actually very funny. I think right now you seem like you're a little bit nervous, but I know when
I'm a
we
little
see
bit
you in
nervous,
person.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a
I know
little
we
bit
see you at
nervous.
first, like, hey, Santos, you're always cracking jokes with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think everybody likes having you around. So you ride with, let's get into the whole motorcycle riding. So you ride with some guys that are, I think I can probably say they're probably not as funny as you, but they're a great group of people, right?
Yeah.
And how long have you been riding with them?
Well, like backstory a little bit. Like I grew up around bikes, so
Yes.
like
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, we should go rewind a little bit. So, how did you get into writing?
yeah. So getting into writing. Well, Debbie's known me, like I said, since I was a little
Baby.
kid. Yeah, baby, pretty much. But my dad, he actually rode. He actually was in the bikes, and you know, he's his name is Santos as well. But I grew up riding with him. You know, he used to ride with Debbie, and everyone else. And so I kind of grew up around bikes. I was always that kid, like I tell certain people, you know, I was always that kid that would run up to people's bikes and be like, "Hey, can I sit on them, or can I pull the throttle, or can I take some pictures, or whatever?"
Did you ever
And
burn
so-
yourself on any of those bikes?
No,
'Cause sometimes
luckily,
the
no.
mufflers are really hot.
No, not that I remember. But so yeah, that's how I grew up around bikes, just being with my dad, going on rides with him all the time. You know, and then you know, for a while he stopped riding for a while, and so like you know, we were just kind of doing our own thing, going through life. And then like, long story short, I just 2 years ago, the Super Show at the Cardinal Stadium, I ended up pulling up there with me and Vanessa. We ended up pulling up there and just checking out some cool cars and bikes. I'm like, man, well, I've been wanting to get a bike for a while now. And it was like, you know, I'm old enough now. I'm like, I don't know. I just got that. You know, when you get that itch, when you get that itch, you're like, you know, there's nothing that's gonna tell you no. You're gonna, when you want it, you want it. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know, after that Super Show, I was like, man. And a couple months after that, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna build me a bike. So I was like, and I've always wanted to like I was always wanted to go like a Vikla themed bike, because you know there's all types of different bikes you can go. It's just not Viklas. There's all types of bikes that people like to build. So yeah, I ended up getting my bike, and then it just honestly it all took off from there. Like after that, I feel.
Where did you find your bike? Did you find it here in Arizona?
Yeah. I bought my bike from Superstition Harley.
Okay.
So yeah, I went all the way out there. Funny thing is, a lot of people laugh, but I actually purchased the bike before I passed my test. So yeah.
No, there's some people that don't even know how to ride, that they just buy a motorcycle because they see it, and they also get that fever or that itch, like, I gotta have a bike. There's some people, believe it or not, I think Paul's one of them, actually. I'm gonna throw him under the bus here because he's out here in the audience. But there are a lot of people that I have heard, even club riders, that have bought a bike, don't even know how to ride it. People have had to ride it home from the dealership. I know one person too. I had to go to a dealership and ride a bike home too for that person. Yeah. And it was a guy. But yeah, no, that does happen.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah. So I was so stoked to go get my first bike. So yeah, ended up. Long story short, I ended up getting my bike, and then you know, I was like, I need some buddies to ride with. You know, I was like, none of my friends are into Viklas. You know, I'm the only kid that I think of. Like my age, there's not a lot of kids my age that are into Viklas at all. So I'm like, you know, I gotta go.
I think you're probably one of the youngest riders I've seen around here.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, I gotta go hit up some of the old folks, see if they'll let me come into their little groups and collide with them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so yeah, and then it just took off from there. Honestly, it just started.
So how did you meet the guys that you ride with right now?
So a lot of those guys, a few of those guys they've known me since I was a baby, but for the most part,
they knew your dad too.
Yeah, they knew my dad too. So, but for the most part, you know, a lot of new faces that I never met before, and you know, it just seemed like good people, you know, good energy, and that's what I'm always looking for when it comes to meeting certain people and allowing people in my life. So yeah, I ended up meeting a lot of those guys that I ride with, and you know, ever since then it all kicked off. You know, between my bike and the collide with my business, and a lot of people kind of starting to know my name in the business aspect. It kind of just started opening doors for me. So I feel like as if like when I bought my bike, I feel like it was a good investment, honestly. Like so,
right, because the connections. Once again, I think the riding or I don't know if you want to. Some people call it riders, some people call them bikers. The riding and biker community, I feel, is a small community, and it's pretty close knit. And it's like once you meet people, I feel like sometimes we all go to the same events, and it's just kind of repeat of the kind of the same people, the same groups. and getting to know those people and having those relationships with them just kind of just opens doors for, meeting more people, whether they come out and ride with us or not. I mean, we all kind of come together, whether it's for one cause, one purpose, or just to, come and check out the bikes or whatever. It's just amazing how that opens doors to meet other people and even non-riders. Sometimes you get the
Yeah.
public that just they want to come out and they're just enthusiasts, they want to check everything out. So getting back to the guys or the group that you ride with, do you want to mention any names, or do you want to call? Because I think they started calling them. There's a name, right? A group.
Shout out to Viejitos for Hire.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Viejitos for Hire.
Who's our president?
The president, G1 Upper, aka Gilbert Duran. And everyone else in the group, and not only them, you know what, I've gotten to that point now where, like, I'm so tied with everyone that I meet in the bike community. It seems like family, from across the board. It's not just that group, so I can run into anybody and have a good time with them.
So when did you first, whose bike, or when did you first detail True Vikla, or was it a motorcycle that you detailed first? Was it yours, or whose was it?
Yeah.
Do you remember that time?
It was no. It was I detailed back in the day, like not back in the day, but like a while ago. I've detailed a lot of bikes, just like random folks' bikes, like a couple Harleys here and there. But like I said, after getting my bike and like getting into the bike community and stuff, I've started to detail a lot of Vikla style bikes and stuff of that nature.
So did you have to go and invest in special brushes and equipment to?
No, not really. You know what? I learned that these, we all know that when you build these type of bikes, it's like a lot of these people work hard and put their blood, sweat, and tears into their builds. So I feel like you got to respect it in that nature of like take care of it as if it were your own. So I feel like, and that's how I approach not even just bikes, but every vehicle I touch. I feel like I try to take care of it if it's my own, whether if it's a $10,000 car or a $300,000 car, But yeah, with the bikes, I love it. I made a post a while ago on Instagram. I was like, man, forget the Lamborghinis, forget the Ferraris, forget all those high-end cars. If it was just Vikla's detail, that's all I would detail. So yeah, I was like, I just love it,
Yeah. So getting back to riding with the group, what recommendations would you give to somebody that's a new rider, coming in, not really knowing anybody? You get to know, Gilbert, and you want to name some of the other guys? Give them some shout outs to whoever else you ride with.
Harvey. Harvey's a good buddy in the group. Who else? Couple other people in the group. Well, there's actually a lot of people, like I said, it's not just him. There's so many names that I've met within such a short period. I've only had my bike for only like a year. So it's like, but between that year time span, I've met a lot of good,
a lot of riding.
People. Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody that is a new rider and they kind of really don't know many people in the riding community? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not really the bike. I feel like it's you. So like, I feel like you can kind of jump in with whatever you feel comfortable with, like whoever, And
I think it's just showing up. It's
just
coming out to an event.
Just be yourself.
Small talk.
Try to open up a little bit. Try to interact with these events that go on throughout the valley. And I feel like that's the best way you can make some friends and maybe make great memories with some people that you could possibly ride with for the rest of your life.
So have you ever? I know you recently just redid your bike. I think you painted it and done some stuff to it. So are you going to be putting it in any shows? Have you put your bike in shows before?
No. Just because I was too scared to in the past, because like being around being around a lot of these bikes, and stuff,
There's some nice
it's
ones
addicting,
out there.
I'm not gonna lie. So like being around a lot of these bikes, it makes me want to, just throw all my money into mine and do some crazy stuff. But in that nature, no, I haven't put my bike in nothing. But I am gonna show at the Super Show this year. I have a lot more I need to do to it, but yeah. So that's something I told myself too when I first bought my bike. I'm like, I'm gonna bring my bike here to the Super Show one day. And so yeah, that's a plan. I plan on showing my bike some more, but I like to ride my bike. I don't like just sit in the garage. So So yeah, when it's time to ride, it's time to ride. So
I do have to say, I know when I first got started, my bike wasn't designed to be a show bike. I had no intentions of making it a show bike, but it kind of evolved into that just because of the, the graphics, the airbrushing, what have you, and then me being a lady. And I do have to say, I know from experience what helped me grow. And I do ride my bike. I mean, it's chipped. It probably needs a new paint job.
as it's supposed to be.
You're right, exactly, because I do ride it, and sometimes I rode it harder than I probably should have rode it. But anyways, getting back to that, like I tell people, I think what helped me grow, I had published a calendar back in 2017, and that kind of took off like wildfire, and that's kind of how I got out there and started meeting different people. But I think for me, the experience wasn't just the local riding. I think for me, it was getting out of Arizona, supporting other events. There's a lot of events out there that do a lot of things for nonprofit. And I think that's what helped me grow. And that's what helped me appreciate other lady writers that I've met out there in other states and other events as well. And getting to know those people and understanding like why they do it. There seems to be a common ground for all that. We're all passionate about the community. We want to try and make a difference. Granted, we can't save the world, but if we can make an impact on one person's life, that says a lot. So that's very meaningful to me. And I think that's what my passion is. That's why I try and stay connected with, the different, writing events and stuff that go on here. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
no, yeah, I completely understand. Like, I haven't got a chance to like go out of state or nothing like that, but hopefully one day I plan on venturing out in that area. But yeah, I completely understand the whole like supporting. I'm always the one to like if you know me, like I always show love to anybody. So even if it's someone that's higher up than me or someone that's lower than me, I'm always gonna show love, and just help out in any way I can, and be a good hand. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
So does Vanessa ride on the bike with you?
Yeah, here and there. She actually wants a bike. I think I'm gonna get her one soon.
Wow.
We'll see in the near future. She wants to build a bike of her own. She kind of gave me that talk one day where she's like, I don't want to ride with you no more.
Oh no!
I want my own. So
those are fighting words.
Yeah, so I'm like,
I want my own.
So it's kind of like I'm in that spot of I have no choice now. I kind of, we got to get her a bike soon. So, but yeah, she loves it, honestly.
So did you take the riding course?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I took.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they don't that you don't know, that you think you know, that you don't know.
Right.
So yeah, I would for sure recommend taking the riding course with you, especially if you're new rider, of course, because you know nothing. So that's like the best way to step your foot into knowing about bikes, knowing about yourself and stuff like that.
What has been your longest ride here in Arizona?
Honestly, it's so funny.
Or do you just kind of bar hop here and there?
No. Honestly, my longest ride was the day I bought my bike from Superstition. That was the last time I was out in that area.
Oh,
because,
it's far.
I drove my bike all the way back home on the freeway, and ever since then, I haven't gone farther than that.
Oh, you got to go visit them. That should be your anniversary ride.
Yeah. I don't think they would recognize my bike anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to give a shout out to the Harley shops. I know I do on occasion. I bought mine at Harley Davidson in Scottsdale.
Okay.
So and
I love that dealership.
Yeah, it's very nice. And I knew some of the people that work there. So every now and then I'll call or I'll go in there or I'll stop in there just to see who's left there. But getting back to Superstition Harley, I know I have a friend in Soldado that's actually having an event out there at Superstition Harley Davidson. I believe it's in December. I want to say it's December 13th. So that might be an event. I'll even ride out there with you because I've got to go. So maybe we can coordinate something.
I gotta start stretching my legs more, put some more miles. I'm putting miles on it, but I'm putting those local miles. I gotta start stretching it out some more.
Yeah, because I know I want to get out there too. They're doing a toy drive. I know we're coming into December, so there's a lot of toy drives coming up, as far as including actually Thanksgiving. So yeah, but maybe we can coordinate something out there and do that
for sure. Yeah,
December, because there's going to be a lot out there in December.
Yeah. Like I said, what's nice about all these events. I love supporting, but I'm getting that point now where like I like to connect with people. Not only that, but like I like being around like high end individuals now. Like it's starting to feed. Like when you start being around certain
It feeds
people,
your soul.
yeah. Not only
I
that,
feel
but
it.
like when you start being around certain people, I feel like you start getting addicted to it, and it's like that's an addiction that like I love. You know what
It's
I mean? I love being
energizing. The
towards
energy.
those big high end people that have good things going for themselves. And
Well, don't get too high end that you forget us.
no, never, never, no. But
Because we need our bikes detailed too.
yeah, no. Yeah. So but yeah.
So what's next for you as far as growth? Do you have any plans like during the holidays or after the holidays as far as the business plan? I know you mentioned you want to, eventually expand. So do you have like a business plan as to how you're going to get there to maybe possibly bring like some more team members
Yeah,
to help
so,
you out? Because I know you were offered 3 weeks. How did that work for you when you were offered 3 weeks? Imagine that, owning your own business, he was offered 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it was super nice.
So your business just completely stopped?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't honestly, I didn't check my phone once.
Wow.
You know what? And I'm the type with my business, I work 7 days a week. So it's Monday through Sunday for me, 24/7. So when I was able to get that time, I take it to full advantage.
That's great.
But what was your question again? Sorry, I forgot.
So like, do you have any like near plans or future plans
So
as
for
far
my
as growth?
So I have a lot of stuff planned. Honestly, in the past, I used to be a yapper. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a yapper. But,
you were a yapper?
Yeah, I used to be a yapper to where like where I would like to say a lot of things and tell a lot of people a lot of things, and it just doesn't.
Well, do you have anything you want to tell us or the audience?
No. I'm saying like I used to be more of like talking and not actually showing the results and stuff like that. So I guess I don't know if yapper is a good word for that, but so I'm at that point now where like I do want to grow my business, of course, but I actually want to get more into I have some plans in getting more into the bike scene more with my detail business.
Yeah, I know. I
kind of
refer you
going
a lot
towards
to
more
business.
towards that aspect, and but right now I have a few other plans. I'm at that point now where like I just want to show it. I just want to show it and let it happen instead of like saying something and it doesn't happen. So I'm kind of like at that point now where I just want to when it happens, everyone's just gonna see when it happens. You know.
So how can people find you?
Yeah, so you could reach out to me on Saints Detailing _ on Instagram. Again, that's Saints Detailing _ and then that's pretty much my only platform that I don't have. And by the way, my business is not ran off of no ads, no websites, no nothing. Wow. It's just all off of referrals and honestly good quality work. So yeah, I've been doing that for 3 years straight, just off of Instagram. That's how a lot of people reach out to me, especially nowadays. We all know that like social media is the king for a lot of businesses. Mm-hmm. If you really want to grow, you got to have a good social media platform.
Do you manage your own social media?
Yeah. Okay. I manage my own social media.
And what do some of your prices range for a detail of a motorcycle or vehicle? Like, do you I know like for my custom bike, like sometimes I have the quick connects for I get to actually remove like the saddlebags. Yeah, do you do that also, or do you charge extra for those things?
No, I do that. I implement it depending on what kind of bike you have. I go by what kind of bike you have as far as like removing things and covering things when need to be covered. But yeah, my prices just start.
What do they range?
My prices range from $100 and up. So yeah, and then it goes up to like I said, I do a lot of. I'm trying to do a lot of more high end vehicles and bikes of that nature. So I'm starting to offer more high end packages as far as ceramic coatings and waxes like that. So those can go up really pricey, but it's like they're like investments for your vehicle that like if you want to invest, like it's quite a bit of money. But if you when you invest in your vehicle, it's like taking care of like it's like later on down the years. Later on down the years, you're gonna look back at your vehicle and it's gonna be like you first bought it. So yeah, my prices vary. I'm starting to get more into like a lot of high end products, high end packages that I offer, and kind of leaning away from like a lot of the dirtier things. I kind of just want to start growing my business more in that nature of like just offering just those high end packages that those people are looking for those ones that really want to invest into them.
And you're mobile, so what's been like the furthest distance that you've gone to someone's? You go to a house, you go to businesses.
Yeah,
you
so
go everywhere.
I'm all over the place. I'll go all
What's
the way.
What's the furthest you've gone?
Superstition in that area. Yeah, Gilbert. I'll go to that area a lot. Scottsdale, I have a lot of clientele I see out in Scottsdale, and then I'm all over the valley. You were talking about growth. I have some plans of growing somewhere in another state soon, hopefully in the near future. If that all goes well, that's something I plan on doing. Starting another detail business in another state. So
what are your car prices range from? And you just do exterior, right? You don't do, or do you do interior as well?
Oh yeah.
You do
So
interior.
like when it comes to detailing a car, like I feel like people are so used to the car wash, or
Yeah.
they're so used to cobblestone.
Yeah.
And no hate to cobblestone, but I feel like there's a lot more that you can do to your car that a lot of people don't know. And so like I feel like for someone like me that details, I feel like whenever I talk and speak to a new client of mine, I always try to go based off of what they're looking for their vehicle.
And I know I can speak because testimonial, you did my bike. I think you did Paul's daughter's car. And I know testimonial wise, I think you did a fantastic job on my bike. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it really did shine and it lasted for a long time. I don't know what special chemical you use, but I do
Yeah.
know that the shininess of it was like really amazing.
Yeah,
It
so
lasted
like
for a long time.
I feel like and I'm not gonna lie, like when you reach out to get your car detailed versus a car wash, it is gonna be a lot more pricier. Just because we offer a lot more, we're more meticulous with our tools, our little brushes, everything that we want.
Well, and I think it's nice. It's a good feeling to have your car or your motorcycle detailed every now and then because, like you said, when you go to a regular car wash, they just do the basic stuff.
Yeah.
You get in there and you get into areas where people can't even get into.
Yeah, so like
Right.
I feel like for me that's a staple for my business because I feel like there's a lot of detail businesses out here. My feet are still wet in the game. I know quite a few people that have been in the detail game here for like 20 plus years. But over the past few years since COVID, we all know during COVID, a lot of people started making businesses and stuff like that to try to help them. But there's been a lot of detail businesses out here, and I feel like I see it now that like a lot of the kids and even the grown men that I see, I feel like they don't value their detail as much as they should be. And I feel like for me at least, like if you're gonna book with me, like I'm gonna go above and beyond.
So here's your commercial right now. You said you want to get into doing more Viklas, motorcycles.
Yeah.
We'll give you a little commercial right here, right now. What would you say to them?
Yeah. So
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. So what's going on, guys? My name is Santos Diaz with Saints Detailing. If you're looking to get your car pampered and detailed the right way, reach out to me. Once I touch it once, you're going to be calling me back again and again and again. And it's as simple as that. If you want it done the right way, reach out to me.
And motorcycle.
And motorcycles, anything from A to B, whatever you have. If it's on wheels, I can detail it. So yeah.
There you go. It's on wheels. Do you do side-by-sides too?
Oh yeah. I do side-by-sides, side-by-sides, Can-Ams, quads, dirt bikes, anything that's on wheels. Yeah, I could do a boat. If I wanted to do, only thing I haven't got my hands on yet. I know one day when I make it, I'll know when I made it when I detail a plane one day.
Oh, a plane.
So
no, that's a goal.
We're still waiting on that, but yeah. So anything on wheels, I can wash it. So yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're kind of getting to the end here of our session, but is there anything else that you would like to add as far as your story? Your goals, your dreams, your support system, your family, your friends. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like the audience or people to know, or is there anything that you would just want to just share in general?
Yeah, I feel like if you're really passionate for something, I feel like I said, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, like don't worry about what anyone thinks. I feel like your environment too.
Yep.
I feel like I've gone to that point now where because I've been through a lot the past few years. So like I feel like, especially with trying to grow my business as well, I feel like your environment is like key to like growing, not only in a business aspect, but I feel like as an individual, it kind of hurts at first letting go of people that don't want to see you grow, or letting go of those certain individuals, family members or friends or anyone that just that's so used to you being in your norm. I feel like removing yourself from those certain people to kind of help you grow, I feel like is a good way to start, honestly, because then after that you could really find out for yourself, who you're supposed to be around, and
Right.
you could really learn more about yourself and not only that, but
Yeah, growing is sometimes it's hard. You know, it's learning about yourself, it's learning about others, it's having that confidence in yourself, you know, your self-esteem and your dreams and your goals, and just staying focused and sometimes achieving them. And sometimes you have to do that in order to reach those goals and those dreams that you have.
yeah, so like I feel like no, like you hit that spot on, yeah. And that was a big struggle for me when I first started because like you get so used to being around the same crowd, it's like
Mhm.
you don't want to leave because you feel bad or
It's
whatever the case
comfortable.
is. Yeah, it gets comfortable, but yeah, I got to that point now where like I'm me and Vanessa, we go by like we're really careful who we bring around me and her. So like so yeah, in that nature, I feel like you really just gotta just be aware of like your environment and stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but just in closing, testimonial wise, I do know that you do offer great service, and you truly do care, you know, about the work that you put into your business and into your customers' pride possessions, whether it's a car or it's a bike or side by side. And testimonial wise, if you ever need a testimony from anybody, a reference, I'd be more than happy to do that. But once again, I want to thank you for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing your growth. I think you're a very special person. You have a lot of motivation. And once again, it'll be just interesting to see where you go with everything. And I like having you around. I mean, when I see you around, it's like, you know, it's like we have a great time. You're
yeah.
funny, you're comical, and I think the guys that you ride with like having you around. And I know they've made, you know, funny comments too here and there. But I think it's, you know, you all around are just such a nice person to be around. You just bring a different type of energy and vibe to everybody where you go.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, and shout out to all the people in the bike community, out of the bike community. Everyone's been a good support towards me. Really opened me with open arms. And especially like a lot of just everyone around the board, just always willing to talk to me and just give me some game, give me some advice, whether I take it or not. And just having a good time, and just I appreciate everyone that's willing to support me, like I said, and just be with me throughout my journey.
And
So,
it's nice seeing you guys in church on Mondays.
yeah,
I know you sit up there at the very front.
Yeah,
right?
I have to honestly because I feel like I feel like I don't know, I get distracted easily. I feel like I gotta just look and not see nobody, so I'm like just stay on my own lane. So yeah.
I see Santos at CCV. We go to CCV together, and him and his wife Vanessa go on Monday evenings as well. And it's just usually for the most part, the message is always great.
Yeah, no,
There's
for
always
sure.
something to take away with it.
It's gotten to that point now where like we don't go on too many dates because me and Vanessa are always busy with work and my daughter and stuff. But like I feel like that's like our date night every week is church. So yeah, I really look forward to that, and I know she does as well. So
it's a great foundation to have.
Yeah,
God
no,
first.
for sure. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate you for having me on here. And then to you guys, to Mike behind the camera as well, I appreciate you. And then yeah.
Well, thank you, Santos, once again for sharing your time with us, sharing your experience and your business growth. And I'm sure you're touching one person out there as far as motivation, business growth, whatever anybody wants to take away from this. And in closing, we want to thank once again the law offices of Jamie Sparks for the sponsorship of this episode today. If you ever need any kind of legal service or advice, she's a great source and resource for information and knowledge, and she's a fantastic person to work with also. And I keep saying those words, but I think once again, this community is about those relationships that we build, and the people that we're able to lean on for help at any time is just remarkable.
Yeah, and one more thing, I want to appreciate you again for having me on here, and your work never goes unnoticed either. You're always grinding like crazy to grow yourself and your business, and
Thank you.
And I always it shows, everyone sees it everywhere.
I appreciate
so
that.
That's all I wanted to say.
And I love you and your family.
Yeah,
you guys
are
just
too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And your mom and dad and your grandma and grandpa, all you guys. So once again, thank you for tuning in today. Once again, you can find this podcast on my Facebook and on the Full Throttle app. Make sure you go and download the PT app. It's currently on Apple and Google. It's a free download, and it has complete with motorcycle events, resources, and we're going to continue to grow that. And we will have sponsorship opportunities. And anyone that's out there that is still currently listening, or feel free to share this information. We are having a bike night tomorrow to kick off the 5th annual Chicano Pride Ride. And that's going to, bike night tomorrow will be hosted at Carambas at Westgate from 5:30 to 8:30. We will have a DJ Chicken Hawk will be out there spinning the tune. So feel free to come out and ride by. Even if you don't ride, just come by, stop by, say hi, grab something to eat and drink, listen to some tunes out on the patio. It'll be a nice time. And then stay tuned. We got another bike night coming up next week as well. We're 30 days into the Chicano Pride Ride on December 6th with Desert Wind Harley Davidson. And I want to thank them once again for sponsoring the Chicano Pride Ride 5th annual. They're a great marketing team and team just to work with in general out there. Much love to you guys out there, Desert Wind Harley Davidson. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you.